Good evening, and this is Rabbi Rogalski, and this is the second edition of Jewish children's stories. And today, again, we're going to take from the same sefer we took from the last time, and we're taking from the sefer called When the Baal Shem Tov Laughed by Mrs. Citron. And we're going to tell the story of Rabbi Yechiel Michal Zlotyshev. A story about him. He was a Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov, and he was also a Talmud of the Maggid. The story goes like this. It says that there was, during his time, near where he was located in Zlotyshev, there was a very nasty poritz, a very nasty landowner. And Rachmanis, there was a Yid, and this Yid owed him a lot of rent. And the poritz, the landowner, got upset. He says, enough of this. Enough of this. It's been so many years you haven't paid me. I'm sick and tired of this. You haven't paid me one iota for several years. How much can I take of it? So the Yid apologized. He said, I'll try to get the money. I'll try to get something. No, you're not going to try. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm putting you in a huge pit, a dungeon, and you can live there. You, your wife, and your children, and that's it. I'm not having anything more to do with you. And in this big pit, I have a mill where you have to keep turning some stones, and you'll grind the wheat, and you'll pay off what you owe me. But I'm sick of you doing nothing. I'm sick of it. Now this pit was it was big, but it was dark, and even during the day, there was very little light came through it. So it was miserable for them. It was miserable for these people to live in this huge pit, this huge big hole. So what happened was they kept davening to the Eibishter, help! This is terrible for us, terrible. So they were there for a couple months, and the mother at that time, when she was put in the pit and the parts didn't care less, she was expecting. So she gave birth, and she gave birth to a baby boy. So the town. The people in the town, the Yiddish people in the town, they had Rachmanis. They couldn't get them out of the debt because they didn't have money themselves. But they pleaded. They went to the poritz and said, "Please take him out so he can give his baby boy a bris milah, 8 days old. Please let him just come out." All right, I'll let him come out now, but I'm going to have guards all around, so he's not going to escape. And his family, they're going to be there to watch him. And right after the bris milah and right after the meal for the bris milah, I'm going to send him back down to the pit so he can pay off the money he owes me. Enough is enough. So that's what they did. They took him out of the pit. They took the family out of the pit. And they had the bris milah. And they had the suda, the meal for the bris milah. And they made sure there was a lot of mashka. Why? Because they gave it to the guards to drink, and the one who was instigated this whole thing to get the guards to drink so they could be drunk and not be and fall asleep was the mayor of the town. The mayor of the town said, "Listen, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you escape. I got all the mashka. They're drunk. I just want a little, money on the side." So the mishpacha couldn't afford it, but the townspeople gave the mayor of the town, the mayor of the town that the poritz owned, they gave him the money. So the guards all fell asleep, and the mayor said, "Now's the time to escape. Now's the time to escape. I have very fast horses, and by the time the guards wake up, you'll be about 40 miles away from here, and it'll be nighttime." It'll be nighttime, and the roads are very dark, of course, and very icy, and everyone will be afraid to go look for you, and that'll be it. So that's what they did. They all escaped. After they were about 30 miles away, it was getting towards night. Remember the bris was early in the morning. After the bris, and after they got all the guards drunk, they hopped onto the horses. All of a sudden, the mother said, "Why is the baby not crying?" And she said to her husband, where's the baby? She said, I thought you had the baby. I thought you were holding the baby. He said, oh no. Oh no. In our rush to leave, we were so afraid of our lives. We left the baby there. We left the baby there by the pirates. We got to go back. We got to go back and get our son. We got to go back. We got to. So the husband said, we can't. If we go back, the pirates will be so angry, he'll kill us. It's a pekuach nefesh. We're going to all die. I also is my son. I also want him back, but we can't. It's pekuach nefesh. We can't. So they didn't. When the pirates found out that the family escaped, he was furious. What? They left? Owing me all this money? And what do I got? What did they leave me? They left some little crying Jewish kid. I don't want a Jewish kid. What do I have to do with a Jewish kid? I can't stand the Jews. So I have to raise a Jewish kid? Forget it. I don't know what to do with it. So the mayor of the town, whose idea was to do all of this, he went to the pirates and said, listen, I don't have any children. My wife and I, we've never had children. I'll take the Jewish kid and I'll raise him as my own. Good, I don't care what you do with him. Take him away. I don't want to see him. So that's what happened. So the boy grew up as a goy. The Jewish boy grew up as a goy. Now, he was a very smart boy, and his stepfather, the mayor of the town, made him take care of his cattle, of his sheep and his cows and everything like that. And the other shepherd boys in town didn't really like him. And one time they got in a fight with him, and they said, "You think you're a big shot? You think you're a big shot because you're the son of the mayor of the town? You're not his son. You're an adopted kid. You're an adopted kid. That's not your father." So the boy said, "What do you mean? What do you mean he's not my father? He's not your father. Your parents ran away because they were afraid of their life, and they forgot about you. Everyone knows you're not a Polish kid. Everyone knows you're a Jew. When we go swimming and we're putting on our bathing suits, we see that you have a bris milah. We don't have bris milahs. Goyim don't get bris milahs. So you're a Jew." So the boy went home. What's going on here? I'm a Jew. He was 8 years old at the time. He said, I'm a Jew. I want to be a Jew. I want to be a Jew, and I want to live like a Jew. And he didn't tell his step-parents that he knew. A little while later, his step-parents had decided that they're going on a vacation. They're going on a vacation for a couple weeks. So this little kid, this 8-year-old boy said, now's the time. I'm going to run away. I'm going to run away to the nearest city, and I'm going to go to the Jewish people and ask them to help me. So that's what he did. His step-parents went on vacation, and he ran off. And he told his story. He ran off to the nearest town, and he told his story. He proved he was Jewish, and they gave him new clothing, because the clothing he had before, the step-parents gave him, was full of shatnez with linen and wool together. And they started teaching him Aleph Beis. He was already 8 years old. And then they said, you really can't stay here, because this town is somewhat close to where you came from. And when the mayor comes back from his vacation, they're going to come after you. So they took him to another town. They took him to another town entirely. And the Jewish community raised him. He was a foster child. They raised him. And he was quite a good learner. He was quite a very, very good learner. And he wound up doing very well in Chumash and in Mishnayos and in Gemara. Became a very big Talmud Chacham. So when he, and the family that he was living with, when he became 19 years old, so the family that he was staying by, the man said, "Listen, I am going to my Rebbe. I'm going to the Rebbe Yechiel Michal of Zlotachov, and I want you to come with me. And I want you to ask him about your family, what to do about it. So the boy's name, David, was very happy to do this. So he went with his foster father, Jewish foster father, and they went to the Rav Yechiel Michal. So they went to Rav Yechiel Michal. So first the foster father, Jewish foster father, went into Yechidus, went into a conference with the Rav Yechiel Michal. And then afterwards, David went in. And David explained his whole story, how his parents ran off, and because of the nervousness and the whole thing of trying to escape for their lives, they forgot about him. And he has no idea where his parents are, who they are, whatever. So anyway, so the Rav Yechiel Michal took out a cloth, a little piece of cloth, and he wrote a kameya. A kameya is like he wrote something on this cloth, Alpi Kabbalah, and then he took a piece of leather, and he made a little pouch, and he put this cloth. He rolled up the cloth, and he put it right into this little pouch of leather, and he put a leather string around the pouch, and he said, "I want you to always wear this. Always wear this. And when it comes, God willing, soon, whenever it comes to your chasana, you should tell to the Rav, I don't want you to Masada Kedushin until you open this little pouch, this leather pouch, and read the Kameya that's inside. And you should tell the Rav that Rav Yechiel Michal told you to do this." So so David said, fine. Soon later, a little later on, David was he got smicha and everything. David became a malamed, and he was a malamed for a fairly well-off family, and that's how he made his parnasa. He would teach throughout the whole year, and he would get money. And during the Yom Tovim time, he'd go back to his foster Jewish parents. So one time when he was went back to teach, so the balabas whose kids he was teaching said, I have a friend of mine who's a rich Graisa Gavir. He's pretty well off, and he has a daughter, and we know the daughter. My wife and I know the daughter, and we think it would be a good shidduch for you. You're already 20, 21, 22, and we think it would be a very good shidduch for you. And I'm going to suggest it to to my friend. So the David said, fine. So this person who's David was tutoring his children met with his friend and said, I have a good shidduch for your daughter. So is it possible we can work it out? So the guy said, sure, why not? So the David met the girl and liked her. They went out several times, and the girl liked David. So they decided they were going to get married. They got the engagement party, everything like that. So they were getting married. So the ceremony was several months off, and so David's foster Jewish parents came. David's boss came, the one whose children he was teaching, and they all went to the city where the town where the Kala was from. And so they go there and they have everything set up. It's all beautifully set up and everything. And they didn't get an official Rav there. They got Talmud Chacham from this town to Masada Kedushin. And then as he was under the chuppah, David remembered, wait a second. Rav Yechiel Michal said, I have to show the Rav this kameya. But the person who wasn't, who was going to Masad the Kedushin wasn't, or he was a Talmud Chacham, but he wasn't a Rav. And Rav Yechiel Michal said, I got to show it to a Rav. So he went to his foster father and said, we got to get a Rav here. because I have something very important that I heard that Rabbi Yechiel Michal, when you took me to Rabbi Yechiel Michal, he said, I cannot make a chasana until I show this kameya to a Rav. So the next day they got a Rav, and they were going to do the chuppah again. They didn't even do the chuppah at that time. They were going to start the chuppah again. And then Rav David said, I got to show the Rav this thing, this kameya that's in the pouch. So the Rav takes the kameya, opens it up, and he sees that it's written, it says, a question. He said, is it mutter for a brother sumachan a chasana with his shvester? Can a brother make a wedding with his sister? So the Rav said, I don't know what this is talking about. Brother, sister, I have no idea what it's talking about. But then David, the chassan Chapsich, he knew what was going on. He said, really? This is amazing. This is amazing. And he started jumping up and down. This is amazing. I'm so happy. This is so amazing. It's amazing. I never would dream such a thing like this. So the cow's father thought David was going a little crazy, screaming, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. And the Kallah was worried, this is a man I'm going to marry. He's just shouting, oh, it's amazing. So the Rav turned to David and said, well, what's amazing? What's going on here? He says, you don't understand. Rabbi Yechiel Michal wrote this because he knew that these people in front of me are my father. The Kallah's parents are my father and mother. And my Kallah is my sister, who was born after me. So I never met her. I never saw her before. And those are the ones that had to run away because of the danger of their life. And they left me with they left me with the ports, and the ports gave me to the mayor to raise me. And once I found out I was Jewish, I ran away to the Jewish families, and I was brought up. I went to yeshiva and everything like that. These people are my parents. And that's why I'm saying it's amazing. That's why I'm dancing around. These are my parents I haven't seen in 22 years. I never saw in my life except at the Bris Milah. Except when I was first born, and I was born in a pit. And even though there wasn't a wedding, everyone was happier than any wedding they ever saw in their life. And Yechiel Michal, with his Ruach HaKodesh, was able to prevent a serious avera, which is a chayav kares, of a sister marrying a brother. So this is a story of a week, and God willing, next week, a week and a half later, I'll be having another story also. And thank you for listening, and you should enjoy it.